Hi, what is up guys? Losomaniac here, and welcome back to another episode of Fallout 4 Strategies. This is where I basically go over strategies or advice, or I tell you guys stuff to make sure that you guys are prepared for your first time in Fallout 4. Now, don't ask why I'm wearing a hat and a hood. It's not important. So yeah, if you guys remember last episode, we talked about legendary weapon effects. Now we are going over legendary armor effects. Some guys who don't know, legendary effects are basically effects that improve a weapon or in some case weaken a gun or a weapon. But in this case, we are looking at armor, so these can make it useful, and some of these will be pretty. And what's awesome about these is some of these effects could be pretty good for a type of build that you are using. Unlike the weapons, I'm not going to go over what type of armor effects could be. How these, I'm not going to go over how all of these armor effects could be used in a build, but rather than just, tell you about them. And with the addition of Far Harbor, some of these added, some of these added, Far Harbor added some different some new legendary effects, and Nuke World added one, which is, whatever. So with some of these, kind of like with the legendary weapon effects, where there's like unique weapons, some of these have unique armor pieces. So if it comes with them, I will be sure to tell you guys about them, and if anything, where you can find them. So if needed. Some of these I won't be able to tell you because I have no fucking clue where to get them. So, and some of these do also have power armor pieces exclusive. I will be talking about those also, but not a whole lot, as there's like maybe 7 here. Yeah, so let's start off with number 1. The Acrobat's legendary effect. This one is by far a pretty cool one. What it does is it reduces falling damage by 50%. Equipping 2 items with this effect will prevent fall damage. This one's actually pretty good. I use this for like a stealth melee character. Like if you do Fudge Muppets Assassin's character, this will be pretty good. Because if you're high up and you break cover or something, the best way of doing it would be like, I usually do it to like jump off to like a certain height, and sometimes I would miss the landing, and so I would go down further, or further than needed, so that in that way that helps out pretty well. So yeah. Next is the Assassin's legendary effect. Reduces damage to humans by 15%. It can be found on Destroyer's chest piece, Protector's left arm guard, and the body armor of the Silver Shroud costume. Now, the effect for the Silver Shroud costume only shows up after you give Kent Connolly the armor. Whenever you first... He asks you to retrieve it, and then after you retrieve it, you give it to him, and then whenever you give it to him, the Assassin's armor piece shows up. Next is Adam's Bulwark. Damage resistance and energy resistance increase with rads. Now, Adam's Bulwark, I think is that what I think it is? If it's what I think it is, then it's alright. Oh, that's okay. So Adam's Bulwark, you get it by completing the Far Harbor DLC. The only way to get it is by siding with the Children of Adam, no matter how you do it. Or if you keep the Children of Adam alive, there are 2 ways you can get it. If by 1, you blow up the Far Harbor, or you destroy Far Harbor, then Confessor Tectis just gives it to you. But if you do the peaceful ending, then the Confessor Tectis gives it to you. So, yeah. And I do want to mention that it is level specific. I think level 40 and higher, you get a chest piece. That's a guarantee, chest piece. But anything lower, and you get like arm pieces or something. So it's pretty. It'd be useful to get that, especially considering the fact that the recon armor, that it's legendary piece, has all arm and leg pieces. So this will be the unique chest piece to go with it. So just keep that in mind. Next is auto stim. Automatically uses a stim pack when. Oh, and items bulwark and auto stim are Far Harbor legendary effects. Automatically uses a stim pack when hit while health is 25% or less once every 60 seconds. This one's pretty good, especially if you do survival mode, as with survival mode, the negative of if you straight up just like use a stim pack, you get negative effects. But if you have the auto stim, from what I hear, it uses a stim pack without you getting the negative effects of the stim packs. So that's pretty good. Next is the bolstering legendary effect. Grants increasing energy and damage resistance to lower your health up to 35%. This can be found on the Steadfast Brotherhood of Steel combat armor piece, the Apocalypse Left Greave, and the Mark III synth chest piece. This one's actually a pretty boring. It's because you wouldn't really want having your health so low anyways, especially for something like the Brotherhood of Steel chest piece, combat armor chest piece, where the Brotherhood of Steel uses combat armor. So more likely, if you're gonna side with the Brotherhood of Steel, more likely you'll probably want to use combat armor anyways, so I'm not sure. Next is the Cavalier's legendary effect. Reduces damage while blocking or sprinting by 15%, and this can be found on the Destroyer's left arm. I'm not a blocker, so this one doesn't really work well with me. I wouldn't be able to take full advantage of this. Next is the Chameleon. Enemies have a harder time detecting you while you're sneaking and not moving. This can be found on Mark II synth chest pieces and Mark IV synth chest piece. This is really good. The only problem is it makes it if the Chameleon turns you invisible. So what it does is, it just makes you invisible. The problem with this is that it also turns the Pip-Boy invisible, so it becomes really hard to see like what you're selecting. So if you want to use the Pip-Boy, my advice is to not use this. It's pretty useful, but after a while you kind of learn to get used to it and whatnot, but still I wouldn't advise using it. Next is the Fortifying / Champion legendary pieces. It grants +1 to strength and endurance, and it can be found on the Champion left arm in the Black Ops chest piece. Pretty straightforward. I'm surprised that they have endurance, considering that endurance kind of affects your health in some way. You know, so I'm just surprised. One of the better legendary effects on here for special stats does not have endurance on it. I'll explain. I'll talk about it. It's pretty interesting. Next is the Dima hold on. No, next is the Cloaking legendary effect. This comes with the Far Harbor DLC. Being hit in melee generates a stealth field once per 60 seconds. I've never used this one, but from what it seems, it's pretty cool. Next is the Cryogenic legendary, also from Far Harbor. 10% chance to freeze melee attacks once every 20 seconds. That's a pretty low chance, but I think if you get it for like 5 pieces, then that becomes 50% chances, which means like maybe 1 to 2 hits. One of those 2 hits causes it to freeze the enemies, but again, that's a pretty low chance. There's no reason why you would use that, you know? Unless you manage to get all of them, but still, there are much better ones out there. Next is the Cunning legendary effect, which grants a +1 to agility and perception. This can be found on Recon Marine helmets, Mantis Left Greave, Champion Right Arm, Wastelander's chest piece, and a Mark II synth helmet. Pretty good. This is good if you use sniper characters. Because perception and agility, or if you're a VAT sniper character at least. Because perception increases accuracy of VATs by 1% per level of perception. And agility just increases AP stuff. Next is the Dima legendary effect, which comes from Far Harbor. It grants +1 to agility, endurance, and intelligence, and it can be found only on Acadia's shield in Acadia, given to you by Dima. If you work with him to, well, just work with him in general. Pretty good. Again, another surprise that there's an endurance on here. Next is the Diver Suit. Wearer gains ability to breathe underwater and protection from radiation. This can be found on the Rescue Diver Suit only, and it can be found on Far Harbor. If you help out everyone of Far Harbor. And I mean every single person that is needed, which I think is the Mariner, Cassidy Dalton, who else? There's like Mitch and Little Bertha. Plus there's like one more thing. You have to do like the captain's dance. So if you do all of that, and you also have to help Captain Avery, obviously. So if you help the people needed of Far Harbor, then you will get this. It's pretty good. Where it gains ability to breathe underwater and protection from radiation. I don't know if it's like complete protection, like as much as a hazmat suit. In fact, let me see real quick. More likely, I think it's just 250 radiation resistance. So not as good as a hazmat suit, but it's pretty good no less. It's better. I think I saw like it's as good as power armor, but you get to breathe underwater and you don't have to worry a whole lot. So there's that. Next is the Duelist legendary effect, and something happens, so I won't be able to tell what. There we go. Duelist legendary effect: 10% chance to disarm melee attacker on hit. Can be found on the Mantis Left Guard. Sure, fine. It's all right. It seems again kind of like cryogenic. It is a 10% chance, which means that it won't be as good. And again, like I mentioned before, if you find all 5, you have a 50% chance of disarming them. But still, there are better legendary effects out there. So, yeah. Next is the Exterminator's legendary effect. Reduces damage from Mirelurks and bugs by 15%. It's a pretty good one. Mirelurks hit pretty hard in survival mode, so I would say if you have this, definitely have it. It is by 15% also, which if you get 5, you're looking at around. I don't know. I'm not that smart. But yeah, it's pretty good otherwise. Next is Grognak's Loincloth. Increases the wearer's strength and melee damage, and it can be found on Grognak's costume and Wildman rags only. Grognak costume. Oh wait, hold on. I skipped a couple. Sorry. I'll just go through Grognak's Loincloth. Grognak's costume can be found in Hubris Comics, and Wildman rags can be found on Sito. If you have Nuka World. It's pretty good. With melee damage, I prefer to go from the shadows. Again, Fudgemuppet's assassin character. It's more about stealth, trying to stay hidden and kill in the dark. So So I don't know, something like that just seems alright. Next is, we're going back a bit, the free fall legs. Prevents falling damage. Needs to be present on both equipped leg armors, and it can be found on the free fall legs only, which is found in the mass fusion building. This one's actually pretty cool. It basically works the same as acrobats, but the difference is free fall has to be is usually on the legs, while acrobats can be on the chest piece and arm, and then you'll be fine. So yeah, pretty interesting. Ghoul Slayers. Reduces damage from ghouls by 15%. Ghouls aren't really that big of a deal. They do come at you in like big numbers, so I would say like early on those are pretty good while you're weak and whatnot. I'd say later on it's not needed. So yeah, next is the Hunter's legendary effect. Reduces damage from animals by 15%. There aren't that many animals. There are like, yeah, okay, I guess there's a couple. Yaoguai, Morats, Radstags, whatever. Pretty good, but still, whatever. Again, just like the just like the exterminators with bugs, there aren't that many out there. I've mostly come across more of like people. So I guess the assassins would be pretty good to have, but other than that, nothing much really. Next is the Incendiary legendary effect, which can be found from the Far Harbor DLC. 3% chance to ignite melee attackers once every 20 seconds. This one's a lot better because, one, it doesn't say that they have to be hit, and two, it doesn't really say that it is a pretty higher chance than like the cryogenic, where it's just 10%. So yeah. Next is the Inquisitor's Cowl. Whereas intelligence increases with rads up to 3 times. So you can have, it increases your max intelligence by 3 per rads, or 1 intelligence per 100 rads, max up to 3. So you can only have a max of 300 rads for it to be affected. If you have 400 rads, it'll be fine, and then that's it. It can be found on Inquisitor's Cowl only, and is given to you by Confessor Tectus after doing his quest to help with him of the Sister Aubert. Sorry, I forgot. It's been a while. I've been playing Mass Effect. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I have Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I am a bit confused because I'll explain that in a later video. Next is Little Menaces. +1 to strength and -1 to perception. Reduces detection from moving and makes the wearer 15% faster. It is found on the Pint-Sized Slasher costume only, which is retrieved if you have the Pint-Sized Slasher Creation Club. So yeah. Again, +1 perception. I sure. Reduces detection from moving. I don't know if that also includes like. I don't know if that also includes like sneaking. Also, it just says moving, so more likely that's probably it. And it makes the wearers 15% faster. Sure. I don't get it. I don't get it. There's even a better one on here. This is just 15% faster on body armor. So yeah. Next is Lucky, which adds +2 to luck, and it can be found on the Mark IV synth left leg. Pretty straightforward. Luck kind of makes it to where like your health is increased, or not your health, your critical meter is regenerated faster. And it kind of helps you get the perfectly preserved pie. And that claw machine shits that I've never gotten, I still have yet to get. It's pretty good. Otherwise, it's pretty good if you're going for like a luck based character. I don't know why you would, because luck is pretty useless. So yeah, next is Martyrs. Temporarily slows down time during combat when you are at 20% health or less. This can be found on the Devastator's right greave, Marine left arm, and Apocalypse armor chest plates. Seems pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. Whatever. Mutant Slayers reduces damage from super mutants by 15%. It can be found on Protector's right arm guard and Wastelander's right leg. This one's pretty useless because by the time you come across super mutants, or by the time you should come across super mutants, they aren't really that big of a deal. The only time I would say you would ever really come across super mutants, is if you are headed to Diamond City, and you come across, okay, the earliest I would say is Fraternal Post 115. That's the earliest. If you go from like Sanctuary to Diamond City, then there are two general places you find them: Fraternal Post 115 and the area to Night City or Diamond City. I don't know where Night City came from. I have not been playing Cyberpunk in a while. But yeah, other than that, if you're headed from Sanctuary to Diamond City, there's only two areas you would find them. I would say stay away from Fraternal Post 115 until you're able to take care of yourself along with super mutants. Other than that, you do have backup on your way to Diamond City, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Next is Nuka Girl. Can be found in the Nuka World DLC, and it grants ability to breathe underwater and +1 to charisma. It can be found on the Nuka Girl rocket suit only, which can be found in Galactic Zone in Nuka World. This one seems pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, my favorite of all the special stats is charisma. Just because I love passing the speech checks and whatnot. I think it's awesome. But so yeah, adding +1 to charisma makes it awesome. Next is Poisoners, which adds +25 legend or poison resistance. Pretty straightforward. Poison, I never really had a problem with poison a whole lot. If I have, it's never become that big of a deal. Next is Powered. Now we're getting into some good stuff here. Powered increases action point refresh speed. It can be found on the Visionaries T60 helmet, Commando chest piece, Honor, and then Mark III synth right arm. I'm assuming Honor is a power armor piece on the Brotherhood of Steel, which I think you get from being a paladin. So that's pretty good. Yeah, this one's actually really awesome to have. So yeah, if you guys want my advice, if you're a VATS person or you just run around a lot, definitely look out for these. These are really useful. Next is Punishing. Reflects 10% of melee damage back on your attacker. Can be found on Vengeance and the Devastator's chest piece. Sure. I don't like these like reflective stuff, like reflects 10% damage. It has a 10% chance of freezing, has a 10% chance of lighting them on fire. I just find those useless. So yeah. But if you guys like those, that's awesome. Next is Rad Powered. Grants additional strength the higher your rads. 1 strength per 133 rads. Unless you're playing like a Children of Adam character where like you're super into rads, then stay away from this. Or if you're taking advantage of Hancock's perk, then use this. But other than that, there's no need. Safecrackers increases the sweet spot or increases size of sweet spot while picking locks. This one's actually pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Especially if you have enough to get, or if you're able to, if you have lock picking rank 3, which allows you to pick master locks, you could easily get those. You could easily, these make it easier. Yeah, I have no idea where I was going. I was all over the place. Next is Sentinels and Titans legendary effect, which reduces damage while standing and not moving. Can be found on Overseer's right guard and Marine or Recon Marine chest piece. This is pretty good if you have the Rooted perk. So if you have the Rooted perk, definitely take advantage of this. You can do a lot more damage and take less damage. So there you go. Next is the Sharp legendary effect. My personal favorite. No, I'm kidding. It's pretty good though. +1 to charisma and intelligence. Destroyer's helmet and the Mechanist helmet. Yeah, it's pretty good. Again, I love charisma and I love intelligence, so this one right here is my favorite. Yeah, so next we have the sprinters, and this one looks like it has a lot on the list. Sprinters increases movement speed by 10%. Can be found on the Captain's Hat from Far Harbor, Oswald's Top Hat from Nuka World, Destroyer right leg, Destroyer left leg, Black Ops right shin guard, and Marine Combat right arm from Far Harbor. Fuck, that is a lot. You're looking at, if you have like shin guard. If you combine all of these with being able to like wear one, because the Captain's Hat and Oswald's Top Hat take up one slot, and there's no way you could get 20 from that. So Captain's Hat offers 10, Destroyer's right leg offers another 10, so that's 20. Destroyer's left leg offers 30. The Black Ops right shin guard is just the right leg. And then the Recon right arm is 10, 20, 30, 40. So you're looking at a 40% increase in movement speed. I don't know why you would need that, but sure, there you go. Next is Troubleshooters. Reduces damage from robots by 15%. This is pretty good if you're doing the Automaton DLC. Otherwise, just get rid of it. It can be found on the Champion chest piece and the Dapper Gent, which I think is found in Far Harbor and one of the vaults there. I forgot which one it is. Don't judge. Next is the Unyielding legendary effect. This is a pretty good one. Reduces, or not reduces, adds +3 to all special stats when you're at 25% or less health, except for endurance. Because endurance affects or fucks with your health in some way. So if you're above that 25% health, you probably risk dying. So that's the only one it doesn't affect, and it can be found on the Unyielding Synth chest piece. This is from Far Harbor, and it can be found after completing Cog's personal quest and not keeping the secret with Cog. So yeah, and finally, probably my favorite one ever, VATS Enhanced. 10% reduction in action cost points in VATS. Can be found on the Exemplar's T60 helmet, Overseer's left arm guard, and the Commando helmet. This one's pretty good to have. With the Overseer's left arm guard and Commando helmet, you're looking at around a 20% reduction in action point cost in VATS. This is also pretty good if you get all 5 or 6 pieces and you combine it with if you combine it with the Deliverer, you are gonna have close to maybe very low VATS stats. Plus the Deliverer kind of limits or kind of lowers, has pretty low action point costs no matter what upgrades you have, kinda. So yeah, so that's enough of the actual one armor pieces. Now we're gonna move over to Power Armor exclusive, just real quick. Almost Unbreakable. Quadruples durability can be found on Tessa's Fist only, which is in the Quincy. The problem with this one is that it's a Raider arm, so it's a rated power armor arm. So just keep that in mind. Next is low carry weight. That's it. Nuka. That's what it says. +3 agility with all pieces equipped can be found on Nuka T51 power armor. Sure, there is one better on here, which I'll talk about in a moment. Overboss Tesla coils deals energy damage to nearby enemies. Can be found on an Overboss Cultist power armor, but it's the chest piece only. Pretty good. I think it's also pretty good if you have Pain Train. So yeah, next is piezonucleic lining. Radiation exposure increases action point refresh speed. Can be found on new piezonucleic power armor which is either a 45 or a T51. So if you use T60 and X01, got some bad news for you. This is not gonna be good. It's again only good if you're using VATS. Next is Quantum, the better part, in my opinion, of the Nuka power armor. Increases action point refresh speed with all pieces equipped, and it can be found in the Quantum X01 power armor, which can be found in the Galactic Zone on that display case, and then the Nuka T51 power armor can be found in the Nuka World bottling plant. Again, on display behind stuff. I'm not going to tell you how to get it because I can't remember. Next and finally is the Tesla power armor piece. Increases energy damage, and it can be found in the Tesla T60 power armor. Pretty straightforward. I don't use a lot of energy weapons a whole lot, so cool. And that is it. That is all of the legendary effects. Yeah. So that is all I have for today. So I did want to mention one more thing before I close out this video. I do have Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I do want to talk about it, but the problem is I don't know. I beat the game yesterday, finally. I've played 3, but now that I had a proper chance to get something, I was able to go back and replay it. And I have felt really weird in the sense of, like, I beat it, and then I was going to start a new character over to Romance Miranda, so that way I can get the final trophy for Paramore. But the problem is that I had a female character, and for whatever reason, every time I try and do the male character, I want to do my female character, but every time I do my female character, I regret the fact that it's not Liara, I regret the fact that it's not Miranda, that's Romance, because I fucked myself over by playing a female. So now I'm in a current predicament that I need to figure out what to do. I currently have Mass Effect 1 loaded up, so that's a male character. So yeah, I would definitely talk about it, kind of go over my thoughts and whatnot. I did have a video planned where I was just going to talk about the whole, like, legendary effect, or not legendary, the legendary edition of the game, but, which comes with all 3. And a couple of DLCs, but the problem is that there's no way for me to. I couldn't for the life of me. I did it whenever I was finishing up. I was still playing Mass Effect 3. I've played Mass Effect 3 before, like just Mass Effect 3. I didn't have the other 2. So yeah. But if you guys don't want to see Mass Effect videos where I kind of talk about it, let me know in the comment section down below. I would definitely talk about it. Anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button. Or if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. Yeah, again, let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want me to at least talk about Mass Effect. I'm not going to be able to do gameplay, sadly, as much as I want to. I have no idea how. If I do somehow find a way to, I will definitely do so. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you do subscribe, hit that bell notification, because I don't have a schedule. So you can, and so by hitting that bell notification, you can be notified as to when I upload. Yeah, Lose the Manic, out.